Coming up on First at 4, a man who led search teams in some high-profile cases in Kentucky is now being investigated in Louisiana. And a Virginia man on a walk to raise awareness for a children's camp makes a stop in the mountains.
And we are spending the final hours of summer live from the Chicken Festival in Laurel County. We will have the latest forecast in just a little bit. Mountain News at 4 starts now.
Dedicated to Eastern and Southern Kentucky, this is WYMT Mountain News First at 4.
Good afternoon, I'm Steve Hensley. First at 4, the leader of an out-of-state search team who assisted in some high-profile cases in Kentucky is being investigated by authorities in his home state of Louisiana. Tony Wade searched for Ricky Griffiths and Savannah Spurlock, among others, with his K-9 team called Cajun Coast Search and Rescue. As WYMT's Phil Pendleton reports, police in Louisiana say his fundraising practices are questionable, and police in Kentucky are also suspicious of his actions.
Pulaski County deputies were called out to this area in the Antioch section of Pulaski County last summer. Tony Wade had said that his K-9 had hit on an area near a cistern.
We did have an issue that day with the dog here in Pulaski County a few months ago.
Sheriff's deputies say they thought it odd when Wade said his dog had hit on an area that they say they could tell had not been disturbed in several years. The Wayne County Sheriff also said Wade made statements that could not be verified, including claiming that he had found victims others had found. But what was most alarming to police in Pulaski County was that Wade was not even licensed to be in business in Louisiana.
And then, of course, we became greatly concerned when we realized that his business license had been revoked by the Secretary of State in Louisiana.
That happened all the way back in 2017, 2 years before Wade and his crew was in Kentucky to help look for Savannah Spurlock. 2 police agencies in Louisiana are also looking into allegations dealing with the solicitation of money through Amazon and PayPal. And Ricky Griffiths' family tells me that they actually dissolved the relationship with Wade months ago, saying that they had learned of some questionable practices, including what they described as a constant asking for money instead of actually searching for Griffiths. In Pulaski County, Phil Pendleton, now back to you.
Phil, thank you. We reached out to Tony Wade for comment, but were unable to find him. Governor Beshear has ordered flags at all state buildings to be lowered to half-staff during daylight hours tomorrow. The governor's order is in honor of a Kentucky soldier who was killed in Europe during World War II, but whose remains were only identified last year. U.S. Army Private J.C. Brooks of Rockfield was part of an Allied effort to capture Sicily in 1943. Brooks will be buried near Elizabethtown this weekend. Congress is facing a hard deadline to pass a spending bill or there will be a government shutdown. But House Speaker Kevin McCarthy is struggling to build consensus within the House GOP ranks as some on the right do not like the direction this is headed. CBS's Natalie Brand has the latest from Capitol Hill.
Most members of the U.S. House left the Capitol for the weekend, even though they have just 8 days left to reach and pass a spending deal to keep the government open. House Speaker Kevin McCarthy expressed his frustration after hard-right Republicans, for a second time, blocked debate on a bill to fund the Pentagon.
This is a whole new concept of individuals that just want to burn the whole place down. That doesn't work.
The stalemate means Congress may have to pass a short-term continuing resolution to fund the government. But even that is facing opposition from some conservatives.
We've been doing CRs for 25 years or longer, and it works the same way, lather, rinse, repeat.
We should not fear a shutdown in the sense that we hurt the American people further to avoid a shutdown, which would have minimal impact if we just had a shutdown for a week or two while we're getting our spending bills done.
With Congress in gridlock, the Biden administration is sending notices to federal agencies to begin preparations for a possible shutdown.
We still remain hopeful, although the writing's on the wall.
Everett Kelly, the president of the American Federation of Government Employees, says his members are once again on edge.
One paycheck, not arriving on time could mean, hey, I got to go borrow money from somebody. I got to get in debt. I got to find some way to provide food for my family.
With Democrats in control of the Senate and narrow margins in both chambers, the ultimate solution will have to be bipartisan. Natalie Brind, CBS News, Capitol Hill.
There are roughly 2.2 million federal employees. Some would be furloughed without pay during a government shutdown, but others deemed essential would be required to work.
Greetings from beautiful downtown London. We are here for the World Chicken Festival, and we've had a great time today. And if you follow me on social media, I actually posted a picture a little earlier of my remnants of my chicken dinner because I ate it before I remembered to take a picture of it. So again, it was pretty good down here. Lots of things going on tonight. Let's get you caught up with the forecast first. You'll see down the road at the London Corwin Airport, pretty nice down that way. A few clouds out there, just like there is here in downtown. We're seeing temperatures right there around 83 at this hour. And as we look ahead, we're going to continue to see temperatures across the region in the 70s and 80s. We're going to continue to see, again, possibility for a little bit of everything out there tonight. We're going to see a mix of sun and clouds for the rest of the evening, and we're also going to see the possibility for some warmer temperatures. Let's take a look at the radar, and you'll see that basically not too much going on here at this hour. We're going to continue to kind of watch that. Maybe just a few sprinkles back off into central Kentucky. And let's zoom it out to show that high pressure that's basically over us, that's controlling our weather pattern right now. But we've got now, I knew that was coming. I just now seen this tropical storm Ophelia off of the coast of the Atlantic there. So that's right there off of the coast of Virginia and the Carolinas. So we're watching that very closely. So we're going to keep an eye on that as we head in the next couple of days. That could affect our weather as early as tomorrow night. So let's take you to the hourly planner as we go through the rest of the evening hours. And you see it's going to be a fantastic night out here across the region. It's just going to be one of those situations where things are going to cool down pretty quickly as we head into the overnight hours. I'll have more on the forecast from the Chicken Festival in just a few minutes. Steve?
All right, Brandon, thank you very much. Missing that chicken today. Well, a Virginia man is walking across the country to raise awareness for a children's camp in eastern Kentucky. Steve Young has been touring America since March of 2020, telling folks about Victory Junction, which is a camp for kids with a medical condition. Young has spent the last few days in Letcher County and says he has visited 800 city halls.
From Southern Virginia, a little town of Patrick Springs, I have been across America, coast to coast, from California up into Oregon, and across the upper part of the United States to the East Coast.
Young says he makes the point to stop and talk to first responders at every location. We'll have more on his journey tonight at 6. A Knott County man appeared on Wheel of Fortune on Wednesday, winning $60,000 total in prizes. Stephen Bell was born and raised in Knott County and says he's always watched the show. Bell says his wife told him to sign up because of how he plays at home.
Well, it got to the point to where one day I was answering all the questions before anybody else kind of had a chance to in the house. And so my wife almost kind of got mad at me and said, okay, you're not allowed to play anymore until you put an audition tape in.
Bell says the process started back in 2021. He says he was happy to have this experience and represent Eastern Kentucky, especially on Pat Sajak's last season as host of the show. We'll have more on the support he's seen and his experience on the show tonight at 6. But coming up on First at 4, we'll take you live once again to the World Chicken Festival in London.
We're here, Steve. We are talking about the forecast, and we are looking ahead to the weekend where that tropical storm off of the coast could cause some issues as early as tomorrow night. We'll have all that coming up for you in just